The International Criminal Court has issued an arrest warrant for Russian President Vladimir Putin for war crimes. The ICC says the warrant stems from Putin's alleged involvement in abductions of children from Ukraine. The court contends Putin was responsible for the unlawful deportation and transfer of children from occupied areas of Ukraine into Russia. Russia's foreign ministry says the warrant has no significance for Putin whatsoever. Meanwhile, the chief of Ukrainian presidential staff calls the warrant only the beginning. For more on this, let's bring in the CBC's Natalie Kalata. Natalie, what more do we know?
Well, Hannah, we know the crimes were allegedly committed in Ukrainian-occupied territory dating back at least until February 24th of last year. As you mentioned, the arrest warrant pertains to war crimes. Specifically, the ICC states the, quote, unlawful deportation of children and the unlawful transfer of those children to from occupied areas of Ukraine to the Russian Federation. Now, according to the ICC, hundreds of children have been identified as children who were taken from orphanages in Ukraine and then were adopted into Russian families. And the ICC says they are now holding Putin individually, criminally responsible here. That is why the warrant has been issued for his arrest. They specifically cite his failure, they say, to exercise control properly over civilian and military subordinates who committed these acts or allowed for them to happen, adding these subordinates were under his effective authority and control. So here's a little bit more from the International Criminal Court.
It is forbidden by international law for occupied powers to transfer civilians from the territory they live in to other territories. Children enjoy special protection under the Geneva Convention. The contents of the warrants are secret in order to protect victims. The ICC attaches great importance to the protection of victims, especially children.
Now, the ICC saying they are not giving a lot of information here about the details behind the evidence behind this warrant, saying they're looking to try and protect the privacy of these children. However, we can tell you we spoke with one professor of international law who points to the anniversary of the war in Ukraine and a particular event that happened within Russia. Have a listen.
Several of these Ukrainian children were paraded in front of a crowd of tens of thousands and were coerced into thanking the Russian military for rescuing them from the city of Mariupol, which in fact the Russian military had reduced to rubble through relentless bombardment. So what we have really is a sinister, Orwellian use of children.
Now, he goes on to say there that this is a slow process, Hannah, and of course this is just, he said, the first step.
And Nat, what happens next?
So Russia, like the U.S., has historically held the argument that the ICC has no jurisdiction over its country or its citizens. Now, a spokesperson for Russia's foreign ministry did issue a statement essentially dismissing the warrant, saying this, have a look, we have part of it for you, saying the decision of the International Criminal Court have no meaning for our country, including from a legal point of view. Russia is not a party to the Rome Statute of International Criminal Court and bears no obligations under it. Now, the former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev called this warrant essentially toilet paper in Ukraine. However, the move is really being applauded. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's chief of staff saying that this is only the beginning. The country's prosecutor general Andriy Kostin calls this move historic, saying this in a statement. Take a look. This is a historic decision for Ukraine and the entire international law system. Today's decision is a historic step, but is only the beginning of a long road to restore justice. That's just some of the reaction coming out of this move today.
Natalie Kalata, thank you.